Hello everyone, welcome to the EOBA coaches meeting. My name is Jim Sprake. I'm the president of the EOBA, and I will be going through the presentation this afternoon. As you can see, we're doing things a little bit differently this year. We're videoing the presentation and we're going to post it online on our YouTube channel, and hopefully it'll address most of the questions that you have. Unfortunately, we couldn't find a time where we could all get together before the start of the season, so we decided to try this approach. So I'm going to quickly walk through some of the things that we're planning to implement this year and some of the different playing opportunities we have for you as teams. I'm going to introduce the executives so you know who's who. I'm going to talk about some changes that we're making to our website, and some of the changes are still in progress, so we ask that you be patient. We think that when we're all done, it'll have a lot of functionality that you'll find useful. I'm going to talk about some changes at the OBA level regarding age categories, about the Ontario Basketball League play, the EOBA League play championships, how to contact our officials, and then some coaching clinics and coaching requirements. So that's basically the agenda for this afternoon. So the executive, who are we? We're just a group of local basketball clubs that get together 2 or 3 times a year and try and figure out the best format for our leagues, the best way that we can provide as many teams as possible in the area with good competition, and that's about it, really. So I'm Jim Sprake, I'm the president. We have Jeff Crampton from Ottawa South Basketball, who's our vice president this year. Dan Case from Goulburn is our disciplinary chairperson. We have Paul Anderson, who does a lot of work with the EOBA championships. And then we have Ratko Kovansina from Canada, and Derek Firth from Ottawa Shooting Stars, who kind of round out the team. Like I said, we do a lot of our work via email, but we meet once or twice a year and try and make sure that everybody has the absolute best playing opportunities that they can. So I just want to spend a little bit of time on the website, and specifically I want to go over team registrations, because we need teams to start registering as soon as possible, because we have our first seeding tournaments coming up October 12th. But before I do that, I want to take you through what our objective with the website is. And we're really trying to create a single portal that provides teams and coaches with access to the latest tournament information and league information. We're implemented a message board that allows and facilitates communication between us, the EOBA, and teams, but also allows teams to communicate with other teams, and also this year teams to communicate with their with their players and parents, I guess, and really make sure that everybody is in the loop and gets to where they need to be. We set up a calendar for each team, so you have easy access to your schedule. We will be implementing a ranking system that is mostly automated, be updated on Monday evening of each week. We do have a club facility manager. I won't talk about that today. I will deal with the clubs individually on that, but it's got some really good features that they can use to most efficiently manage their facilities. And this year we are asking people to kind of sign in as a member. And the reason why we've done that is because the website's really set up for people to sign as a member. If you do, it makes accessing your schedules, standings a lot easier, a lot less clicks to get there. And all along the way, we're posting a number of videos that that'll help you just learn how to navigate on the site. I'm going to get into the team registration, so that's the most important thing to start. So I'm just going to go to the website. As you can see, come on to the website, ask to sign in. As I mentioned, I would highly recommend that you sign in, and makes everything a lot easier. So the first thing you notice when you sign in is all your activities, or your registered activities that you have on the website, appear on the home page. So like I said, you can have very quick access to your schedule, the entire league schedule, or even to your personal schedule, your personal team schedules. So if I look here, I look at the junior girls, which I'm a coach of. I have all the practice times, and so you have a lot of information if you sign in and become a member. So that's the first thing that I would encourage you to do, is sign in as a member. Right on the home page here, you have access to all of your team's schedule standings. Just sort of one click gets you exactly to where you need to be. If you're going to register your team, the first thing you need to do is go on to register a team. Now, important point that few people have been confused with is they thought that they could simply carry last year's team forward. So if I coached a major Atom team last year, I would just go in and I would update the profile of last year's team, and it would become my minor bantam team or my major bantam team. That in fact is not how it works. The major bantam team that you coached last year is last year's team. It's done, it's over, it's archived, if you would. What you need to do is you need to now register a new team for the new season. So simply you just go through and you fill out our registration form. So I'm going to create a kind of a dummy team. I'll delete it afterwards. So I'm going to coach. I'm going to select the 2018-19 season. I'm playing basketball here. Select the age group. Let's say I'm going to coach a U19 boys. Now I'm going to look for my club, so I can just type in the PN Blue Devils Association. Say I'm going to coach a recreational team, and I'm going to call it last name to break. And you can see it makes a name here, and this is important. We want to make sure people don't duplicate or add the same team under the same name. So if this name already exists, then I'm going to get a warning, or the website won't let me register the team. It's going to say that team already exists. I got to change the name, so then I might change it to, you know, Jim to break, if to break is already taken, because maybe my daughter's coaching a team. And then, very important, the last thing, I want you to rank your add your ranking information. This helps us especially for the seeding tournament. So I'll seed, let's say this is a an A-level team. Was there a previous team that this is strongly related to? If there was, you could type it, and if I was type in whatever team you want there, it'll pop up. You can say what previous provincial ranking they had, whether this team is stronger or weaker than last year's team. As simply that, I go like this. I say join the team. Now the team's been registered. Now you can see that's taking me to another screen. So here you can see that the team is registered. Now I'm to another team where it says now register your team for a league or tournament. So I've registered my team, but I haven't actually said where they're going to play. I said they're recreational, but now I need to look for my team. So you can see the team I just registered, Jim to Break Junior Boys. So this is the list of all my teams. Basketball, type of competition, I'm going to register for a league. Going to register from 2018. The league I'm going to register them is the West End Basketball League. I'm registering for this event, and I am looking through here and I'm saying, okay, it's going to be the Weeble Junior Boys team, and now this is the team that I'm registering them for, and your team has been successfully registered. Now if I go back to my home page, you'll see that now I have my junior girls team, I have now my junior boys team registered, along with this link to the schedule and the standing, the registered teams, and I have my team from last year. So if I want to just see what other teams are registered here, I would go here and I say, oh, I'm the only one registered at the moment for the Weeble West End Basketball League. So that's basically the registration process for your team. Now there's a whole host of team functions that are available to team managers. If you go under manage activities, you look at team administrators, you can update your team information. Parents, players can join your team and receive messages and notifications. You can manage your schedule, post scores. You can search for additional practice time if your clubs put their practice time on Sports Advisor and the EOBA website. You can send notices. I'm not going to go through all of those, but what I have done is I have put together help features that help you understand what functions are available. So for instance, if I go to register a team again, you'll see this little video here, and you can go here and go to our YouTube channel and kind of get the same type of thing that you're getting now in terms of an explanation. So that's how to register a team. And the last thing I want to show you, and I'm going to go just back to our presentation. The last thing I want to just remind you is how we plan to communicate with you. So what we've done is for every member who registers on the site, we've given you a message board. And the message board is very important. So what we're able to do as an EOBA is we're able to send out messages and post specific messages on your message board. We can post it to everybody, or we can post it to just a specific person. So basically, if you would go back to the site, and I would go here, and I would go to the message board and say, well, what messages did I receive on my message board? Well, I received a message about this presentation that we're giving now. I received a message about the annual coaches meeting. My club had sent me a message about tryouts. I received some messages about the EOBA playing dates. Earlier in the season, somebody sent me a message about the NCAA Can-Am shootout. So these are messages. You can delete any message you want at any time. And right now we're also triggering an email to go with the message on the message board. Eventually we're not going to trigger those emails anymore. We're just expecting when people come to the site, check your messages for the latest things that are going on. We also have our Sports Advisor bulletin board that you can post messages or things on at any point in time. You can search the bulletin board by simply clicking here, and if I wanted to search for any tournament that maybe somebody has posted, I would just go search, and I can see the Cornwall Lions have posted a tournament for February 16th, the Major Adam Boys tournament, and they get given details. I can click here and I can get more information and more details. They can actually even put their sponsor logos on this page so that everybody, and so they're able to promote their sponsor. So that's just very briefly a couple of the functionalities that we've incorporated into the site this year. What we're really doing, and we got fairly grandiose plans, is we're going to try and get all the basketball tournaments to register on the site, and then we're going to allow teams to post an idea of whether or not they're going to participate in those, so that you can essentially build a scouting report which will allow you to scout, well, who are all the teams, for instance, that are going to be registered, and we'll just, because it's the only leagues that are registered in the Bantam Boys, Ontario, or Bantam Girls, Major Bantam Girls. So who are all the teams registered? And I can see, oh, these are the teams registered. Do I want to register or do I not want to register? So again, just some of the really the features we're trying to build in the site to help you do the best job you can plan your season. So that is where we're at with some of the website updates. We're going to get back into the presentation now. So now we're going to talk about the OBA age category. So the OBA's informed us that if a minor team plays in one tournament and or 4 games, then the minor team would have a minor team can play in one tournament and or 4 games before the minor team would have to change their classification to major. Now this has some implications for the OBA because we've always had minor and majors play together in the same divisions. We don't actually have minor divisions. So now if a minor team plays 4 games or plays in one tournament, then they would automatically be classified as a major team by the EOBA. We've indicated to the EOBA that this is a problem for the Eastern Ontario Basketball Association, and they said that they'll grant exceptions on a case-by-case basis, but that they said that they would rarely provide exceptions. What we as the Ontario Basketball League are going to do is we're going to try and make sure that we provide we allow minor teams to play against minor teams as much as possible, and we will work with the minor teams, and if we schedule a game against a major team for that minor team, we'll essentially seek their approval ahead of time to ensure that they're okay with us scheduling them a game against a major team. So that's a fairly significant change, and you're going to have to kind of bear with us a little bit this year at the EOBA level as we try and now have one more added complication to an already very complicated scheduling process. So we're going to just talk first about the OBL East League play. So what are we offering in the eastern part of Canada for teams? We essentially are going to provide you with a 20-game schedule that does include the games associated with the EOBA Championship. The schedule is really broken down into a seeding tournament of 4 games, 4 league weekends with an average of 3 games per weekend, and then EOBA championships. Probably the best way to think about this is that the EOBA will organize 6 tournaments for your team over 6 successive months throughout the basketball season. So for instance, the Major Adam Boys starts at the beginning of October with a seeding tournament. They'll have play in then November, December, January, February, and their championship is in March. You can find all the playing dates on the website under playing dates. Again, if you sign in as a member, maybe I'll just show that to you for a second. If you sign in as a member, instead of having to go search through leagues and tournaments and then go to playing dates and then search again, if you've signed in as a member, you can just go straight to your playing dates, and you can see the playing dates listed there along with other information about the league. We'll be posting the rules and any other special instructions on this page as well. So again, we hope that that is useful for you, but that's where you can find the league dates. The Ontario Basketball League is also offering a league. It's more of a provincial league where you're able to play probably a greater variety of teams over the course of a season. It's a 12-game schedule. It has 4 playing weekends, 2 games each, and a championship weekend of 4 games. And teams will be assigned in an appropriate division with re-ranking after the 6th game, and you can find the dates on the OBA website. Bear in mind that this is 2 games in one day, so you'll most likely be traveling to Toronto for 2 games and then either traveling back home the day after, or maybe even try and travel there in the same day. We are trying to work with the OBA to, 1, both allow us to host some of these games, and 2, allow us to double bank one weekend and then have a bye the other weekend. So instead of playing 2 games on a weekend, we would play 4, and then we would have a bye the next weekend, given that's a preferable way. So we're negotiating that right now, but the Ontario Basketball League has not yet accommodated that request. The OBA also offers the OBLX League play. The format is a little bit different. This is billed as the highest or the elite level league offered by Ontario Basketball Association. It's a 14-game schedule with 2 games the first weekend, then 4 games, then 3, then 4, and then a championship weekend where you have 1 game guaranteed and can play a maximum of 3 games. Now, change this year is at the U13 and U14 level. Only teams playing in the OBLX will be invited to participate in the provincial championships or invited to participate in Division 1. So if you have aspirations to be the provincial champion this year, you think you have the team that can do it, you will need to play in the OBLX. Otherwise, you will not be invited, regardless of how good of a season you've had. You will not be invited to participate in what is called the provincial championships this year, which is essentially the Division 1 of the Ontario Cup. The playing dates for the OBLX can be found on the website. In terms of championships this year, clubs have, every team open in the EOBA has EOBA championships, and we will continue to hold those roughly prior to the week of the provincial championships or the Ontario Cup. We're going to go with the same format that we had in place last year, which is a four-team guaranteed format. It seemed to work pretty good last year, and we're going to continue to try and enhance these tournaments. Last year we got paid scorekeepers for most of the games. We're going to try and have on-site conveners this year. We will endeavor to up the awards a little bit and make it a little bit more meaningful, if you would, to win these championships. We really want to build these as, you know, the most important part of the OBA season. The other championships available to teams are the provincial championships. This is the former Division 1 of the Ontario Cup, so this is new this year. So the Ontario basketball has decoupled the provincial championships from the rest of the Ontario Cup. All of the provincial championships will be hosted in Toronto. The Ontario Cup will be hosted in different areas. You can really think of it as Division 1 is now being rebuilt as the provincial championships, and Division 2 and below is now the Ontario Cup. This year, Ottawa is hosting the U14 Major Bantam Boys Ontario Cup and the U16 Major Midget Girls Ontario Cup. And this is really a sign of the OBA's confidence in our ability as an association to be able to host these events, especially the U14 event, which is the largest event that the Ontario basketball runs. So that speaks well for all the great work that this basketball community does. So insurance, lots of questions always come about insurance. All EOBA scheduled games are sanctioned by the OBA. We work closely with the OBA to make sure that they know who's playing, when the games are being played, so that you don't have to. When we play Quebec teams or games in Quebec, we send information to the OBA, who then sanction the games. Once the OBA sanctions the games, they are covered by the OBA insurance. That is how it works. So, and if you like, usually every Wednesday of every week, the OBA looks through the schedules, look what games are scheduled up. We send the communication to OBA, they send us back saying, yep, games are sanctioned. If you would like, we could forward the official sanctioning of those games to you, if as a club or as a team you're interested in seeing that, just so you know that that was done. If you've arranged your own exhibition game, you need to have the game sanctioned before you play. If you do not, the game is not covered by OBA insurance, even if you play in Ontario. And this is new this year, and the OBA is being pretty strict on this. So a couple rules and reminders that we wanted to remind the novice and Atom coaches about, and you all know this, but we just wanted to remind you, ball screens aren't allowed. We all, I think, as a board would recommend to avoid them, but at this age, but it's not illegal, so if you choose to do it, that's fine. So if you're the opposing coach, you see a ball screen, you're not happy about it, it's not illegal. It is allowed. Zone defense is not allowed. Help defense is allowed. Pressure defense is allowed in the front court, but intentional double teaming or zone press is not allowed. Unintentional double teaming do to help defense transition will happen. It's not an infraction, but coaches should instruct their players to recover to their man. Another important thing we want to emphasize, the minimum number of players to start a game at this age group is 10, with no exceptions for the EOBA championships. So if you show up to the EOBA championships with 9 players, you will forfeit the game. The minimum number for league games is also 10, but if the coaches agree prior to the start of the game can proceed, and the result of the game will be the result of the game. Gatineau teams are permitted to play in the EOBA under the Quebec basketball age regulations, which means they will be potentially slightly older in some cases. Another thing that we wanted to discuss, again related to novice, is this year we'll do one experiment of one weekend where we will run novice 4-on-4 games rather than 5-on-5. This is an experiment for us. We're considering moving to a 4-on-4 format for all games next year, and that we feel that by experimenting 1 week we'll be able to better understand whether this is the model that we should move forward with. We will consult with the EOBA. It is our desire to actually move to this model, but we need to do so in consultation with the Ontario Basketball Association. And if next year we do move to a 4v4, then we will communicate that to you in May of this year. Coaching requirements, so U10 to 12 requires learn to train, U13 to 15 train to train, and U16 to 19 train to train. More information about all the coaching certification can be found at the link provided here, and I encourage you to do that. The EOBA has indicated that they were going to be a little bit more strict with regards to certification this year. Officials, you're required to have an OBA official for all games unless the OBA is providing an exemption and has permitted the use of minor officials, which we are trying to get for our novice games that we host here in Ottawa. The OBA is going to coordinate all officials for all EOBA scheduled games. The league games are cash games. The OBA official fees for the championship are covered by the championship fees that you pay to the OBA. So those are not cash games. If you arrange an exhibition game, you need an official, you can send an email to Eric Jordan at the email address below, or you can give him a call at the telephone number below. And lastly, there's 2 coaching clinics scheduled so far. There's a Train to Train on October 12th, and there's a Learn to Train on November 17th. And as I said, the OBA is being a little bit more strict this year on this, and that it would be a good idea if you don't have your levels to get them. And that's essentially it in terms of the presentation. As I said, if you have any questions, I did go over things fairly quickly. If you do have any questions, please email us at admin@eoba.com, and we will answer your questions. And we just want to wish everybody a really good season. The first games up are only about 2 weeks away, our Major Adam Boys seeding tournament, so we're starting to plan that. But it's really important that everybody goes online, registers your team. Remember, new season, new team. And once all the teams are registered, we'll be able to post the schedule. We have the gyms for the most part already lined up, ready to go. We just need the teams to register. Okay, so I want to thank you very much for your time. Wish you an enjoyable season. And thank you for your continued support for the Eastern Ontario Basketball Association.